Hi everyone and welcome to Game 2 of Round 3 of the SCG Invitational Qualifier in Doncaster. Eduardo took Game 1 on the first turn with his Storm deck, and Bradley has started out Game 2 with a Turn 1 Trinisphere. While we're going to be waiting for both players to be playing a spell at this point, how do you think that either of them are going to have sideboarded?
Well, I'm not sure Eduardo sideboarded anything at all, because he didn't get to see anything from his opponents. I mean, I might hedge if I was playing Eduardo's deck and just bring in 2 Abrupt Decays, because they do deal with like every hate card in the format. Like that Trinisphere.
And speaking of illegal things, Brad can't do that.
So yeah, Trinisphere counts for both players, and it makes each spell cost at least 3 mana.
Yeah. So this is a case of Trinisphere for 1 actually costs 3.
Yeah. So in Brad's turn, he's just tapped his Urgent Tomb, took 2 damage, and passed the turn. It doesn't seem like the most optimal of plays.
Well, unless he's got a second land here, which I imagine he does. Yeah, he has. Can't see because it's obscured by his left hand at this point. It's a Cavern of Souls naming construct, so that is Metalworker.
Yeah, I think Cavern of Souls have made the Mud deck a lot more playable, because before it was weak to swords and any counter magic whatsoever. So I've been able to eliminate one of those 2 things that would held the deck back, maybe pushes it into tier 2. I don't believe it's quite a tier 1 deck at the minute though.
Now, we're very much into the fact that the first game in this event was a very interactive but rather complex match. These 2 decks, it just appears one's trying to kill the other as fast as possible and the other one's trying to make sure the other deck doesn't play magic. Yeah,
it's a bit of a throwback to Vintage as well, because this is what kind of the Vintage Mud decks do. You just basically go, your spells cost a lot and my lands tap for more mana than yours, so I can still cast mine. The thing is, with the Storm deck that Eduardo's playing, once he reaches threshold, his Cabal Ritual will still make 5 mana. It costs 3, but it will make 5. And Eduardo's just left the table to ask a judge, I think.
Yeah, we're just going to pause the action a little bit and come back to it very shortly. And it looks like Eduardo has now finally returned to us.
Yep, Trinisphere is a complicated card.
Yeah, it's, I suppose that it's okay in Legacy because you actually have to have 2 things to cast it turn 1, whereas in Vintage you obviously just go Workshop Trinisphere, how's your life?
Yeah, it's not the most fun thing to do. The awkward thing for Eduardo here is Brad's got access to a lot of mana next turn.
Yeah.
His Metalworker gives him 2 for each artifact card in his hand.
Yep, that's another Cavern of Souls for Brad. I know, maybe naming Worm or something.
Worm, Golem. He might make a Lodestone Golem. That would make Eduardo's life a living hell.
Okay, he's activating Metalworker, showing him that's Sundering Titan. It's probably going to make Eduardo's life fairly difficult.
Yep, that's why the Mud deck doesn't play that many basic lands as well, so it can just Sundering Titan as much as it wants, and that not being a symmetrical effect attached to a 7/10 that he's making on turn 4 is quite powerful.
This would be turn 3 actually as well.
Yep, turn 3. The Urgent Tomb giving him the extra mana.
It really doesn't help Eduardo that I believe that.
Yep. Think about it.
So Eduardo's not allowed to cast any spells.
Seems about as one-sided as the first game, this one.
At least Eduardo's given him the courtesy of showing him like his lands. I mean, Brad didn't even do that in the first game. Spent all that time mulliganing and then just died.
Yep. It shows him 2 Chalices of the Void to get 4 mana. And we might see both Chalices come out here, probably a Chalice on 1 and then a Chalice on 2.
He's just got to work out how much he's got to pay for all that.
Yeah.
I mean, if Eduardo does see another 3 lands,
and a way to mill 5 cards into his library before that 7/10 kicks his head in.
Yeah, they're just destroying the table at this point. It's not ideal.
Not really. I mean, we've laid out those Star City Games mats so nicely.
Just can't give anyone nice things.
No, unfortunately not.
Grim Monolith's an interesting one in the Mud deck. It's kind of painful to untap it most of the time, so it's not often they do, but they do play Voltaic Key, so it lets them have some really, really explosive draws.
Okay, that's Chalice for 1 from Brad. And There's Chalice for 2 as well, so I'm pretty sure Eduardo is very, very locked out of this game.
But he is winning on life totals, and that's the moral victory you can take from this.
There is that, but Eduardo decides that, yeah, he's pretty much had it in this game, and we are on to game 3.
Pretty much.